I was analyzing how light falls into the room and animates the area in the living spaces. I also observed how at different times of the day, the rays of light that comes in forms a different pattern.
I am looking at the kitchen and where heat is mainly produced. There are tests on the top left and right of how long it takes wax to melt over the kettle and the hob. The two main heat producing areas have ventilation from the extractor fan on the left and the window on the right. I created these flags and put them on the floor to see where the wind flow travelled through the kitchen when I created a draft. Below are a close-up of the flags, and as you can see, the wind comes through the window on the right and then exits out the kitchen on the door at the bottom left.
I chose to study my studio, living, dining, cooking area. It's a lovely wee area, so I drew a floor diagram and placed in the red variable elements. So it was a couple of ottomans, my TV table, some bar chairs, and then I also highlighted the radiators in red when they were turned on to indicate when heat was available and when the doors were open and closed. And this kind of highlights how to make an area habitable for different situations.
The top leaves of the tea plant are picked, and on site they are then rolled on machines and laid out on large beds to ferment. Then they are sent across the world to factories where the teas will be blended together and then they will be bagged up.
Away the papery part of the tea bag so that we can see the plastic skeleton that's inside it. As you can see, other than being a little bit more transparent and fragile looking, it's like a tea bag.
I'm shocked and surprised.
In this section, I have taken apart the tea bags to see what it's like inside them, from the colours and the textures to the ingredients themselves. You can also see how each tea bag is bonded, from the melted polypropylene technique to the folded and stapled. After drinking a lot of tea, I started taking the used tea bags apart and putting them back together to create a fabric or tapestry of tea bags. Starting with a disc of 14 centimeters in diameter and a thickness of just 0.3 of a millimeter, the can is then taken through 3 processes: redrawing, ironing, and doming. These processes change the form of the disc, first by cupping it, then elongating it by thinning the walls even further until they are just 0.01 millimeters thick. The dome at the bottom not only allows less material use, it also redirects some of the force of the soda liquid inside, creating a more reliable and stable container.